You can look at it and see if it's recording.
Oh my God. I don't think so.
Let me see.
Oh, it is. Can we start again?
No, just set it up. It's not gonna fall over.
If you do that, it will.
Well, I'm gonna do that, so.
Okay, we'll get something else to.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, I'm making a video about my time recently in Georgetown Behavioral Health Institute. I've been through a lot of my life. This was the worst week of my life. It's the hardest thing I've ever been through. The too long didn't watch version is just that the way that I and the rest of the inmates there were treated was cruel, inhumane, and illegal. So yeah, this video is gonna probably be very long, and you're gonna have to bear with me if you do watch it. I'm just a dude with a cell phone. I don't have editing equipment or anything. This is gonna be all off the top of the head, just recounting what I went through. And I've been out for about 5 or 6 days now, and it's still, I've never been so scarred by anything. And again, I've had my share of scars and traumatic experiences, and I've never felt this way. Anybody who knows me knows how easy it is for me to just sit up and talk about anything, even difficult experiences, but it's taken many days for me to recover, and I'm still recovering. And so let's just jump right into it and yeah, get this thing going. I've got mental illness, bipolar disorder, some other stuff. I also have several serious sleep disorders, and those two things work in concert with one another. If either one of them is going poorly, the other one is going to be negatively affected as well. So I had a period for about a month this summer where my sleep was just absolutely out of control. I'm experiencing something called myoclonic jerks every night, little mini, just painful muscle spasms and feelings of electricity running through your body and stuff. But more than anything, it was the mania, and I kept staying up for more than 20 hours over and over and over without wanting to, and then eventually I'd have a 6-hour day and stuff like that. And when you're supposed to take meds on a schedule in the morning and in the evening, and you're never awake or asleep at the same time, and you're staying awake for a full day at a time, sometimes longer, you can imagine it throws your meds off. It throws everything. I mean, sleep deprivation, getting your pill routine messed up, all of that, the muscle pain from fibromyalgia. I was just spiraling, okay? And I'd had a particularly rough day, and apparently, I have no memory of this, but I believe it. Apparently, I called my mom, and I left a venting voicemail where I mentioned one of those magic words that'll get you locked up, which is suicide. And so my mom called a trusted professional in the field of mental health, and that person recommended to call the police and have a mental health officer come out and admit me to what my mom thought was going to be a drug rehab, where they were going to, my mom wanted to send me somewhere where they were going to fix my sleep, get my pills back normal, and get me ready to get out and continue to work on my mental, physical, emotional health journey. And that is just not what happened at all. So again, off the top of the dome, I apologize for all the rambling, but here we go. Real quick, this is not about the Pflugerville police, but as usual, they came out. They were wildly combative. They talked a bunch of shit. They always bring multiple big grown men to surround you and make you feel cornered. Again, totally antagonistic. They never come out and say, hey, I'm the mental health officer. I understand you're having a bad day. What's going on? You want to talk to me about it? They always come out and go, I heard the voicemail. You're going to jail. You want to talk back to me? You want to see how this is going to go? Blah, blah, just. And then I'm arguing with him, and the other one comes in from behind me and starts yelling at me. PPD, seriously. What is wrong with you? You should be ashamed of yourselves. Anyway, so they throw me in the back of a police car where I'm just smushed in, whatever. They take me to this place, Georgetown Behavioral Health, and the admittance and everything took so long that I went in the afternoon, but I didn't get in until about 1 in the morning. They just dropped me in there. No one told me anything. And at this point, I already have not been allowed to take my pills for a full day. Meaning I really haven't taken my pills since the day before. So by the time the next morning comes, I've been off of my pills for about 2 days, and I'm definitely having benzo withdrawals. And for those who don't know, whenever you go into one of these places, universally across the board, the first thing they do is they decide to take you. They have a psychiatrist who looks at your meds and says, take them off of this, and this, and I'm going to put them on this and this. They took me off benzos. They took me off Ativan. They took me off Klonopin. They took me off Lunesta. They took me off Nudexta. And they didn't give me anything for the withdrawal symptoms. And that's not detoxing, that's just withdrawal. That's just making someone go through benzo withdrawal, which is worse than alcohol withdrawal, worse than heroin and meth withdrawal. It is the worst withdrawal you can go through, and one of only a couple of withdrawals that can kill you. I was denied medical treatment every single day I was there. When I got there, they told me I'd have a man named Dr. Leon. I never saw a doctor while I was there. I never saw a medical doctor. I was there. Every single day, I would request a medical doctor. I would invoke the patient's Bill of Rights, which I read while I was waiting to be processed. And every day I said, your patient's Bill of Rights says I have the right to request medical treatment. I have the right to receive medical treatment. This is cruel. This is inhumane. I was going through benzo withdrawal. I did not eat or sleep the first 2+ days I was there. My body felt hollow. I felt like menthol was running through my veins. Benzo withdrawal is literally bone chilling. My bones felt icy hot. And again, it felt like, icy hot menthol runs through your veins. I had the shakes. My stomach was distended, but I couldn't eat. I was absolutely going through it. And every time I would beg for someone to give me medical help, the way I was treated was just so cruel. The next thing I'm about to say might not be popular or socially acceptable, but I don't give a fuck because it's the truth. Something that these places are known for, my mom has known this for 20 years now. These people exclusively, every one of these places employs countless Nigerian nurses and nurse techs. They come over from Nigeria. They cannot afford to go to a 4-year college. They get their nursing certificate, nursing degree or whatever, and they are employed in these places across the board. And while I have lots of love and respect and admirations for Nigerian people as a whole, I've got plenty of Nigerian friends. I think as a whole, they're wildly impressive and ambitious and hardworking, high-achieving people. The ones who work in mental hospitals are pretty much all terrible people who have just totally soulless, heartless approaches to medical care and who think everyone in these places is a rich, spoiled American who just needs to get over it. And so, for example, I've been denied medical care, I've been freaking out, crying, shaking, grown man brought to his knees. And it was my 3rd night in there, and I was having really bad sleep paralysis. I kept waking up paralyzed over and over. So I got up and I walked to the nurse's stand where this Nigerian lady was looking down at some papers, and I said, ma'am, I'm suffering. Please, may I see a doctor? And she goes, doctor will be here in the morning. And just never looks up from her paper. I said, ma'am, I'm suffering right now. Can I please get medical attention? No response. She just keeps fucking with her papers. There's another Nigerian guy, Chris, who processed me. I said, Chris, can you please come over here? And he just pointed me to her. And I said, she don't want to talk to me. She didn't respond. Right at this moment, another inmate came up and said, ma'am, I need medical attention. And the lady did not look up from her thing at all. And the girl looked at me and I looked at her and we were like, ma'am. And she just never responded. And both of us walked away. And I could tell you 20 more stories exactly like that. That is par for the course in there. That is nothing special. Again, every single day I asked to see a doctor. They told me I was going to see the famous Dr. Leon. They told me how great Dr. Leon was. The first night, you're going to see Dr. Leon. Didn't see him. The next day, you'll see him this morning. Didn't see him. You'll see him later today. Didn't see him. Every day they kept telling me I'd see. I never saw this person in the flesh. I don't think this person exists. Speaking of things that don't exist, my shower curtain. I was never allowed to have a shower curtain. I was supposed to have a shower curtain, but I didn't. I went, again, they dropped me off at 1 a.m. and no one ever told me a word. No one said, this is what we do during the day. This is where you're supposed to be. This is what you do to get out of here. This is what time we eat. This is what time we shower. Nothing at all. So I have no shower curtain. I need to shower, so I take a shower. I flood the shit out of my bathroom, and that night I almost bust my head wide open because I forget that my bathroom was completely flooded, and I walk in there wearing my slides, whoop, slip. Luckily, I have cat-like speed and reflexes, so I was able to save myself from injuring myself, but I wish I could say the same for other people. For example, speaking of requesting medical assistance and not getting it, a girl had a seizure right in front of me, and they never called an ambulance. I was on the phone with my mom crying, broken down into a shell of a man saying, I think I'm going to die in here. I think I'm going to have a seizure and die. I keep telling them I need medical care. They won't let me see a doctor. They won't take me to the hospital. My benzos are gone. I think I'm going to have a seizure and die. I hung up the phone. 120 seconds later, a woman had a seizure right in front of me. I'm never going to forget her feet flopping on the ground and her going, "Aah!" But that was just the kind of shit that was going on around you 24/7 in there. It was an absolute fucking zoo. The first night that I was in there, the first 2 nights I was in there, I was awakened 3 to 5 times by blood-curdling screams. Blood-curdling, I am being tortured, screaming, crying, bawling screams. These are all like adult human beings who probably don't generally cry in their real lives. I don't ever cry. Really, I used to cry a lot. There's nothing wrong with crying, but I have not been a crier in a long... I cried more in there than I have in the last 2 years. No shower curtain. No, there's a million different people who work there, so you're never seeing the same people more than... I would see one familiar face. They would work there 2 days out of the 5 days I was there. You were never able to create relationships with people. Now, there were a select few counselors and nurse techs in there who I do believe have wonderful hearts and want to help us, but there's no way that they could overcome the system that is Georgetown Behavioral Health Institute and just how cruelly it's designed. Just again, rambling off the top of my head, all of my clothes were stolen, and it wasn't a mystery what happened. A woman in a wheelchair came into my room and stole all of my clothes. Well, first what happened is I was in my room, and then I saw my bathroom light turn on, and that's when I noticed this woman in a wheelchair had taken over my bathroom. She had taken my blanket and my pillow. Oh, speaking of which, I kept requesting for a shower curtain every single day. I was in there 5 or 6 days, and they kept being like, yeah, we're trying to get you one. We're trying to get you one. They just gave me blankets every night to lay on the floor of my bathroom. So I just took a shower, flooded my bathroom onto a blanket every night, and then scooped that up every single morning and night, actually, twice a day. Anyway, I'm in my room. I see the light in my bathroom come on. I look in there. This woman has taken my blanket and my pillow. By the way, I laid down on, it's the same shit I used to lay down on when I was in preschool. Those mats that are this thick. That's what you sleep on, is a mat. So, because here's what's crazy. For every mentally ill person and drug addicted sick person across the board, the prescription for better health is sleep, sunlight, human interaction, and exercise. Sleep, sunlight, human interaction, and exercise. Georgetown Behavioral Health Institute is specifically designed to deprive you of all of these things. They fuck up your sleep. They open your door every 15 minutes to check on you, as policy, every 15 minutes. And some of the people who work, Some of them are really kind and they do it quietly and they let you sleep. Others, they don't like you. Bow! They're busting it open. They're waking you up as often as possible. Sleep, sunlight, exercise, human activity. They don't get you no sleep. They don't get you no sunlight. They don't get you no exercise. And the only human interaction you're having is with other people who are at their very lowest, sickest, most fucked up points. And who are all kind of terrified and tormented and tortured inside. I mean, it's a torture chamber in there. People in there are scared to be honest about how poorly they're doing, because when you tell them you're doing poorly, you only get punished. You don't get help. They go, see, you're unstable. This is why you have to be here. See? It's the absolute definition of gaslighting. To do everything you can to make someone even sicker than they were when they got in there, and then to go, see, you're sick. You need to be in here. That is gaslighting. And it was so cruel. And I've never been through anything like that in my life. So, trying to get back to where I was, the circuitous route, I see the light come on in my bathroom. Ma, will you check and make sure it's still recording? I see the light come on in my bathroom, and I look in there and I see my pillow and my blanket are laid out in my shower. This woman has taken over my bathroom. She's got papers and stuff everywhere. She stuffed my toilet full of papers. She told me she was plotting her escape and that she was gonna live in my bathroom, and that's how she was gonna get out. And so I just left my room. I couldn't deal with that at that time. I was dealing with some whole other shit. So then she came out and she was wearing my clothes. She had stolen all my clothes. She changed outfits 3 or 4 times that day. Socks, shirts. I have a shirt I wear as a headband because my CPAP, the straps on my CPAP have worn my skin raw. So I have a nice burnt orange cloth that I used to wear around my head. She stole that and wore it around her head, so I just let her have it. And I went up to a nurse tech who was working there who I have to choose my words very carefully because I do not want to accuse someone of something that's not true. But I swear to God, I'm 95% sure I saw what I saw. This nurse had a double lightning bolt SS Nazi tattoo on their arm. I mean, it's pretty unmistakable. The only thing that's making me question it is my mind frame being that the lack of sleep, the lack of exercise, the lack of sunlight, the lack of healthcare, taking me off my benzos, how completely fucked and dehumanized, and again, what a shell of a person I was, and how traumatizing all this was for me. That's got me not wanting to 100% commit to saying there's a Nazi working in there, but I saw what I saw. I saw what I saw. I went up to that woman, this is like day 3, and I said, so-and-so took all of my clothes. She's wearing them right now. And they never got me my clothes back. Again, every day I would mention this, every day nothing would happen. On the final day, the lady, I personally was able to get the lady to give me, I think, one of my shirts back. She gave me a bundle of clothes that I just grabbed and threw in my shit because I was getting out of there. And when I got home, it turned out to be one of my shirts, some scrubs, and then other people's clothes. I don't know. I was just ready to get the fuck on out of there. So was everybody else. I'll also say this. The very first night I was in there, I was doing horribly, and I got up and I went to the closest nurse tech, and I said, ma'am, I'm feeling really low. I'm doing really bad. Can I please have a counselor to talk to? And she was like, talk to me. I was like, all right. She goes, what you in here for? I was like, well, I've been doing bad. I haven't been getting sleep. I've been spiraling. And then one night, like an idiot, I decided to drink alcohol and then take my benzos. Oh, okay. So that's why you in here, because you a danger. You a danger to yourself. Other people, I'm like, I understand how it seems that way. And I did say that magic word, suicide, although I've never actually wanted to hurt myself. No, you said it. You would die. No, you drink and you eat pills. I mean, I'm like, okay, all right. She just kept on interrupting me and not really letting me get to the part where I'm like, hey, listen, I'm really suffering. Like, thanks for your interest in why I'm in here, but please shut the fuck up and let me tell you what I'm going through. And then literally In the middle of us talking, I swear to God, if I'm lying, I'm dying. She turns around, walks away, says to someone, I'm going on break, and then uses her card to open the door and just fucking leaves. So then later on the next day, I have not slept. I'm really going through it, and I had a total breakdown. And I'm screaming and crying. I had begged a nurse, you have got to let me see a doctor. I'm going through benzo withdrawal. I could have a seizure and die. You've got to, she said, I will talk to the doctor. I will make sure he sees you next. This doctor is not Dr. Leon. He's some African guy, not surprising. And I don't know if she talked to him or not. I waited outside his door. He opened his door. I said to him, did the nurse talk to you and tell you to see me next? He goes, I'm not seeing you. I'm not seeing you today. And he literally did this and closed the door in my face. I looked at the other inmates in there and I went, is this what it's like in here? And they all went, yep. So I start crying. I start breaking down. I'm pleading with the people behind the nurse desk, pleading with them to get me medical attention, telling them this is inhumane, telling them this is illegal, quoting the patient's Bill of Rights. I said to them, I'm looking at a bunch of people wearing scrubs who call themselves medical professionals, and you're all acting like you don't even see me or hear me. What is happening? So at that point, that guy Chris, who I referenced earlier, him and one other person came out and they took my blood pressure. I don't even know what it was. They didn't tell me. They sat me down, they took my blood pressure, and they walked away. I'm like, please, someone get me medical help. And out of fucking nowhere, the same nurse tech who was talking shit to me and then walked away, the nurse the first night, out of nowhere, she's over here paying attention, and she goes, you just got medical attention. And that's when I turned to her and I was like, taking my blood pressure is not medical attention, and you got an attitude. And she goes, no, I don't, sir. I said, yeah, you got an attitude. She goes, and you like to drink and eat pills. That's where you want to send your family. That's where you want to send your loved ones who are suffering. That's where you want to send them to get rehabilitation, to get care. That's where you want to send someone who's already at one of their lowest points, suffering, and then as soon as they get in there, they're going to make you suffer more and rub your fucking nose in it. Later on that day, I was standing in line waiting to go to lunch, and that same bald African doctor walked by, and I was on the phone with my mom when this happened. She heard this. I said, sir, did you take the Hippocratic Oath? Because all doctors have to take the Hippocratic Oath, and the very first thing it says is first do no harm. I said, sir, did you take the Hippocratic Oath? And he stops and he looks at me like this. I said, sir, did you take the Hippocratic Oath? He goes, again, second time he did this to my face and he walked away. And I said, first do no harm, yelling down the hallway. I haven't even gotten to the other people. There's so many people in there who are paranoid schizophrenics who are literally every day having boxing matches with people who aren't there, arguments with people who aren't there, in the middle of class standing up and screaming and cussing and talking about Jesus and Satan and the Bible with demons that no one else can see. People are crumbling inside. People are like in the hallway, curled up in the fetal position. People are constantly falling out and freaking out and either having real medical emergencies or having massive panic attacks and thinking it's a heart attack or a stroke, because this place is designed to just kill you. I have never felt so trapped or scared in my life. I thought I was never going to get out. I thought I was either going to die of a seizure or that they were going to whittle away at my physical, mental, and emotional health so routinely that I would just never, ever qualify to get out and pretty much just lose my mind. Oh, by the way, when you get there, there's a whole lot of literature about how if you get out of line, they're going to tie you up, restrain you, and throw you in a room by yourself. So that's brilliant. But yeah, everyone in there is doing horribly. Everyone in there is scared of the people who work there. Everyone in there is suffering and would rather continue to suffer in silence than dare let anyone know they're doing poorly because they'll be punished for it. Again, there were a handful of nurse techs and not doctors, nurses, counselors, social workers who really wanted to help us, but they were too few and far between to have any impact. And just the way the systemic dehumanization of the people in there and the cruelty with which they treat the people in there. I've never experienced anything like this in my life, where every single spare moment of my day when I got out for days, my mind was racing with thoughts of that place. I'll never forget the face of that nurse tech who was so particularly cruel to me, who clearly has that job just so she can feel better about herself and judge other people. Because there was not a single person in there who had a relationship with her. There was every other, person, every one of my inmates, we had relationships with people. She had a relationship with no one. She would scream at people. She was a nasty person. I saw someone one time say, ma'am, did the nurse give me such and such? She goes, I'm not a nurse. I don't know what they gave you. And then click, walked out. And again, you get mistreated. What happens if I lose my sleep, my meds, get mistreated, and I lose my mind and I assault this woman? I go to jail. Things get even worse. Speaking of jail, there were several people in there who you could just tell had been in and out of TDC. And there was just one day where multiple of them were sitting around. I mean, guys covered head to toe, tattoos, done a bunch of bids talking about this is worse than jail. Their words, not mine. I have no frame of reference for that. Actually, I did go to jail when I was 15. I've not as an adult, but jail at 15 was very scary. I got scared straight, and I would rather do that 1,000 times than ever go back there again. So just to wrap this up, I have always known that, like, if I was a soldier, I would never stand up to torture. Like, I've thought about that, watching movies and stuff. Like, wow, I would give up the information immediately. I know that about myself. I can't handle, like, pain and mental anguish. And anyway, I got to prove that to myself. I got to find out just for real. I got a little bit of skeet taste of what that's like, because, dropping someone off in this horrible mental facility and leaving them on their own, taking them off their drugs, giving them nothing to cope with the very serious and potentially deadly withdrawals, treating them cruelly, denying them medical. Again, never saw a medical doctor. Watched people have seizures, watched people faint, watched people suffered alongside them. Every time I'm calling mom on the phone, she hears screaming and wailing in the background. Had my life threatened on a daily basis in there by insane people who need help that they're not getting. Georgetown Behavioral Institute. I have been to Shoal Creek, the Manager Clinic. I mean, you name it, I've probably been to it throughout my life. I've never been to a place so cruel and inhumane, and that way by design. Everything they do is designed to make your mental, physical, and emotional health worse. No sleep, no sunlight, no human interaction, no exercise, or the only human interaction you get is with other people who are suffering and being abused and mistreated on a daily basis. It's truly an unbelievably cruel place, and I am not going to stop until someone of import, someone with power, stands up and takes notice and does something to shut down this, again, just unbelievably cruel and inhumane and arcane insane asylum that they've got going out in Georgetown. If you listen to all of this and there's anything you can do, please do it. This is my story, and this is, again, I've been building up to recording this for days. I've never in my life not been able to talk about something before, but I have been losing sleep and I have been doing really poorly. And I've been in communication with other people who got out. No one's doing well. And this has not been easy for me, but I owe it to the people who are in there right now. I owe it to anyone who's ever been in there. And I owe it to future people who might have been put in there one day to try and do something to make it to where that place just does not exist any longer. It is beyond reform. It is beyond hope. It is a place to send people who you want to be tortured. So that's my experience at Georgetown Behavioral Institute. And I know that I speak for pretty much everybody in there when I give my story, that they're going through and have gone through the exact same shit. Please, if you love someone and they have mental illness or drug addiction, don't send them there. Send them anywhere else. Or really try and love them and talk to them and listen to them and understand and see what you can do to get them to get sunlight, exercise, sleep, human interaction, drink lots of water. Do anything you can before sending your loved one to one of these places, because I promise you, they always get worse before they get better, and nobody ever comes out of there better. We only come out of there worse, and this place is the worst. Shouts out Williamson County. Shouts out the state of Texas. Shouts out Greg Abbott and Ted Cruz and Dan Patrick and all our lawmakers who shit all over the healthcare and specifically mental health care system in this backwards ass state. I'm still going to be recovering for a while. But yeah, this is my story, and I want it to have some sort of impact to shut this place down so that no one ever has to go through what I've been through in the last week or two. Thanks for watching.